Bethel's heart hadn't changed, right? But because we're still judging people based on a Mosaic law, based on what they eat and how they look and what they did. And the Lord is saying the reason why they hadn't changed is because I'm giving you the assignment to change them, but you ain't fixed your heart. So how can you change a community when your heart is still messed up? How can you give lemonade, water, lemonade? Well, how can you make the lemonade sweet when all you're doing is putting bitter in it? Right? So how can you be salt in a world when your saltiness has ran? You're salty, right? But you're not salt. So he had to do something to Peter in order for him to change first. So we got to realize the Lord always works on us first before he gives us the assignment. And until we're ready for the assignment, he can't give it to us. All right? So maybe we need to look at it in this standpoint when we look at this county. When we look at this, let's say this community, North Port St. Joe. The reason why North Port St. Joe is not changing is because the people are ignoring the assignment. The Lord is trying to change their heart, and every time the Lord tries to change their heart, they fight against it. And they say that old saying, well, he knows my heart. He knows your heart. That's why he's trying to change it. But then we say, I'm too old to change. No, you ain't too old to change. You're too evil to make it to heaven. Because if you're using an excuse, if the Lord is trying to change you and you saying you can't be changed, that means you don't believe in him the way you say you believe in him. That means you're lukewarm. That means you're a hypocrite. That means you're just a wolf in sheep clothing. You're putting on just to get along. All right. So when we look at Peter was at the point that the Lord was ready to change him. And he had that conversation. And watch this. Change don't happen overnight. Because Peter went back to, I think it was actually 3 times. And then the Lord finally said, Peter, let me just put it plain. If I clean it, it's not anymore. Right? Dirty up stuff, I clean. Yeah, clean. So why are we going like 30 and 40 years that's happening? We clean it up. Why do we keep trying to that God is already trying to clean? Why are we keep dirtying up stuff that God is already trying to clean? A lot of us are in a situation and we're mad at people have done to us. And let me rephrase that. Us. They did it to somebody in our family. They did it to them people in our family that we can't get past. Why? It's a Cheryl, excuse me if I. That's why 10 years ago, Cheryl probably had so much heartache in this church because we were looking at Sister Cheryl for what something and not. Let's stop looking at people for what other people have done, and let's start looking at us for what we're doing. Because the reality is, we may be the problem and not the right. When God put Peter in that trance, Peter was a problem. But after the Lord identified the problem being a solution, and he went. It doesn't say what happened to Cornelius after that. Let go of his, slavery, mentality. He probably did. Prayerfully, after 7 years of slavery that he had, he treated them right. We don't know. But is that he was a willing vessel to receive what thus says the Lord. He just needed somebody to pour into him, right? And as he was pouring, and what Peter was, he had the oil, right? But his top was so tight that he couldn't pour into nobody. And the Lord had loosened the pot so he could pour in. So the question is, are you the empty vessel that needs to be poured into? Are you the oil that needs to be poured into? That is the question. And which one? If you're the pot that needs to be poured into, don't you want somebody to come pour into you? Watch this. This is on that. When you get to the point when you go to that buffet, you eat so much that you're full, that you're miserable. And the first thing I need to go use, I need to do something to get this food off of me, right? Some of us are so miserable in life because we're holding on to so much that we're about to explode. Stop before you explode to the point, and in hell you lift up your eyes.
Some of our trade school March 22nd, 2026. Brother, total number 6. Total contribution 65. And that's superintendent, brother. Jordan Pastor. Any correction of this?
No.
Secretary reports and approved.
Just a couple of announcements. Today, 3 p.m., we have a night and collective Thanksgiving service here today at 3 o'clock. So those that can, we will please be prepared after that. Also, right after service today, stewards. I need to meet my stewards right after service today. Also, one other announcement. Let me make it now. The Jesse DuPont Fund has changed. I want y'all to hear from me first. We received the full. We're asked now that for every after you raise 4,000, you got to raise 4. The minimum is to be even. The matching funds now is for every $4 you raise, you get $1 in return. So that's where we're at. So, bro, Fidel, we should have the funds. Okay. So that's that. And third, making this announcement now, May 24th. That is Pentecost Sunday. It is our church anniversary. May 24th at 3:30 is our church anniversary. I'm looking for volunteers to help out with the committee stuff itself and the program. The church, in looking at it, the church was doors were open in May